recognize such men and women of great skill and perseverance, well tried and sufficient with diverse weapons. In the Outlands, a master or mistress of defense shall be one who has demonstrated skill in the use of the rapier and or cut and thrust combat, and in the study of the art and science of defense, who is generous with their talents and knowledge, who has dedicated their skills and efforts to benefit the society and the Outlands as befits a peer of the realm. Let now all members of the Order of Defense come forward so that they may bear witness to this ceremony. The crown now calls Carlos Nieto de Andrade to come before this court and company.
Your Majesties, your Excellencies, good gentles all, comes before you now Carlos Nieto de Andrade, bearing by grant of arms per chevron, azure and argent, 3 mullets of 8 points, 1 and 2, or, and a cross of Santiago gules within a border embattled counterchange. He bears the honors of a companion of the Instus Sonoris, companion of the Ostrum Australis, defender of the Silver Tyne, companion of the Stag's Heart, defender of the White Scarf. He has served as a Queen's Guardsman, a baronial guardsman, a herald pursuivant, and as the Southern Rapier Commander for war. Again, before you comes Carlos Nieto de Andrade.
Don Carlos, we understand, due to an illness in his family, Master Christopher could not be here. However, last night during your vigil, the 4 of us had words, and you were released from your oaths to him, as is right and fitting at this time. Carlos, having stood vigil and fought sage counsel from our peers and populace, have you undertaken to accept the admittance to the Order of Defense that was offered to you at our Crown Tournament?
I am honored and I do.
This greatly pleases us.
Bring forth the livery collar of the Order of Defense. Let this collar pass from hand to hand. Among the members of the order gathered here, to symbolize the bond that you shall have with each of them. Throughout history, livery collars have been used to signify those belonging to great and noble orders, so that members vows that they have taken, and that they may be recognized as members of their order and seen to represent the high ideals to which they aspire. Thus, the Masters and Mistresses of Defense display our symbol on a white collar, symbolizing the purity of spirit with which they share their talent. All who will seek their guidance. Sir Conrad, as a knight of the society, please speak to us to Carlos's skill of arms and chivalrous grace.
Majesties, I have known this man from his first days with this court. And when I was asked to speak for him, I worried what to say because I knew there would be many to come before you. And among those would be dedicated to vouchsafe his service to the crown, his dedication to her people, and his growth in skill at arms. But it is meet that this should be so, because to walk the path of chivalry is to undertake to be a servant to many masters. And it is in the discharge of these obligations that our worth is made manifest and our character known. To of Don Carlos, let me say this simply. Noble servant, willing rental, Majesty, know that I hold this man in worthy spirit.
Mistress Monaco, would you please share Master Tariq's words? As a mistress of the Pelican, tell us of Carlos's dedication to service in the Outlands.
This day do I bring words from Mistress Melodious and Master Book. Your Majesties, Highnesses, Excellencies, all of our peers and good populace. We wish we could have attended and do justice to this man who kneels before you, Don Carlos. But the plague has covered our land, and to serve others we have decided to remain behind. Let us tell you the story. The story of two youngish pelicans and a man that they call friend and soon are going to call work. These two pelicans were traveling in the southern regions of your kingdom, found themselves in the barony of the citadel of the southern pass. Now, in this barony, there was a young man named Carlos. He noticed these poor, wayward pelicans who were in desperate need of shelter. He took pity on them. He offered up his own room that they rested their weary bones. Not only did he give them shelter, he provided them with food. There were pancakes with butter and blueberries and syrup. However, no sooner had he fed them than Carlos, remember this story about him, was forced to rush off to serve his baron by helping to set up the event that occurred that day. Our two pelicans arrived a little while later to see the event in full swing. Nothing left to be done except enjoy yourself. That's pretty odd for a couple of pelicans to find. The day was going very smoothly, people enjoyed themselves, and Carlos could be seen moving throughout the day, barely resting as he worked to ensure that the day continued. During the evening court, the baron cried, "What has happened to my accounts? I need help. Will somebody fix my ledger?" And there was Carlos, moving forward with the helium hand, even though he had no knowledge of how to manage an account. But he could and would learn. With a little help and knowledge from those well-fed and rested pelicans, he did. Months turned into years. And Carlos, that would be him, waged a tireless battle to rectify those ledgers. The accounts were saved, the barony continued to pay its debts, and Carlos was eventually allowed to withdraw from that endeavor. But he couldn't sit idle. He found other ways to help serve the barony through diverse efforts. Those are stories for another time. And then he heard another call, a call from the king. There's a web that covers my land. The spider reaches out and someone must tame it. It is a mess. Who will take on this feat? Carlos, step forward to meet the king's challenge. I will tame this web for my king. The king beamed, and that was good. Many long months and years to this man, see, I told you he's an important guy, labored diligently, bringing the great web of the kingdom under control. If you look closely, you can see he still does it to this day. The spider is tamed. The people of your kingdom continue to benefit from the connections that the web brings. And everybody lives happily ever after. Local traditions, laws, and messaging rates multiply. After witnessing all of these efforts of service and in consultation with my fellow pelicans, Carlos, the guy who's kneeling in front of you right now, can't be more highly recommended for this elevation.
Master Siegfried, as a master of defense, speak to us of Carlos's valor and its connection to the Outlands and her people.
Your Majesties, I, Master Siegfried, speak on behalf of the Order of Defense, on behalf of Don Carlos Nieto de Andrade. This man, if I may speak plainly, is a man of tremendous heart, and it is evident in all that he does. My fellow peers have spoken of his hospitality and his service, and these stories they have told today are not extraordinary of his. These are common to his character. This is every day for Carlos. It is who he is. His heart is also evident in the refinement of his courtesy, as anyone who has spoken to him or asked a boon of him could attest to. This is not something that comes naturally to any of us, but courtesy is something like a skill that must be honed through dedication and through careful contemplation and study. And this man has honed it to such an extent that it comes readily to him. It comes with nonchalance that is perfect to a courtier. Such is the dedication he has put into his courtesy. Yet that dedication is also evident in the mighty prowess on the field that he has developed over the years, especially in a remote end of the kingdom at the gates of Argonia itself. He has not only taught others and brought them up in their quest for prowess, encouraging them, but he has also sought out hard fights to train himself, to put himself to the test, and to grow in prowess as befitting any great swordsman of the realm. For all of these reasons, backed by the incredible heart of Don Carlos, may I, Master Siegfried, on behalf of my order, before your majesties, your highnesses, nobles of the realm, gentles all, say that Don Carlos is indeed surpassingly worthy.
Duchess Cecilia, as a royal peer, speak to us of Carlos's nobility and the support of the crown.
Thank you, your majesties. I am delighted to speak for Don Carlos on behalf of the royal peers today. As your majesties know more than most, every reign has problems. Some of them are predictable, and some of them are not. But one of the greatest balms to the mind of a crown is to know that there are people within the kingdom's infrastructure from whom there will be no problems. And that when problems arise, there are people who will fix it quickly, efficiently, without self-aggrandizement, simply working to make the kingdom and your reign function as smoothly as possible. Don Carlos has served coronets, he has served crowns, he's been a baronial officer, a kingdom officer, he's run events, he's set up events that he's not running. He occasionally carts a retired crown around El Paso in the middle of the night looking for pie. No matter what the problem is, if it is within Carlos's abilities, he will fix it, because that's simply how he addresses his role within that game. So whether he is an officer or a guard, he will serve this kingdom, and he will continue to ease the road of any crown who follows you as a peer. And I am so grateful that you have chosen to recognize him in this way today. Thank you, Your Majesty.
Good peers, as members of the peerage, do you now affirm that Carlos has grown in gentle virtue and chivalrous grace, the hallmarks of a true peer? Right. We thank you for your wise counsel. Bring forth legacy. Carlos Nieto de Andrade, you have been deemed fit for this high estate by your peers and have indicated your willingness to accept this honor from our hands. We will now hear your words.
I swear to be your true subject to my sovereign lord and lady, and their successors, kings and queens of this realm, and always to be ready to spend my life and goods to the service of my sovereign, for they shall command me at all times towards their enemies. I shall be a true master this day forward, to the last day of my life, loving truth, hating falsehood, and not grudging or disdaining any master of this science, any peer of this realm, or any person of goodwill. If by chance it comes to any manner, or prize or game, or any play at weapons, touching the science, and I shall, without favor or hatred of either party, say, speak, and give true judgment
of that of which I shall see, so as near as I can or may. I shall be merciful, and whereas I have to have the upper hand of my enemy, that is to say, without weapon, or under my feet, or their back towards me, I shall not kill them, saving myself harmless, without danger of death, except it be in service to the crown. I will be courteous and honor my peers, of whatsoever order, as we are all equal in our steadfast dedication to the realm. I will conduct myself in all manners as befits a peer, to continue to practice the virtues of chivalry, of nobility and personal integrity, for the benefit of my own good name, and to the greater glory of the Outlands.
Then having heard your words, know now that we, Bela and Nerissa, by right of arms and grace and favor, King and Queen of the Outlands, to proclaim you, Carlos, to be a master of the Order of Defense.
Of your order. Let this collar be token your mastery of the skills and diverse arms. You are now trusted to practice and teach the arts of defense amongst all of our subjects as a maestro of the Order of Defense of the Outlands.
Bring forth the sword.
The other sword.
Master Carlos, accept this sword, which shall represent your prowess at arms.
The badge of our order is 3 rapiers, tall inverted, crossed at the tips, a symbol of brotherhood and community. Let these blades ever remind you of your duty to grow and nurture our community.
I would love to offer my fealty as my essay of the Outlands.
We would be honored to hear your fealty.
This day do I render homage and fealty to my sovereign lord and lady, Bela and Nerissa. By right of arms and grace and favor, King and Queen of the Outlands, who will for this day be my liege lord and lady. I will remain true in all ways, favoring them faithfully. I will defend the weak and humble. I will make triumph over might. So say I, Maestro Carlos Nieto de Andrade.
And having heard these solemn oaths, we pledge to you that we will accept your fealty, and that from this day forward until the end of our reign, you are our liege man. We will honor your order and defend your rights as a peer, and protect the trust that you have placed in us, mighty with justice, tempered with mercy. Arise, Mesa Carlos. Let the scroll be read.
We, Bela and Nerissa, King and Queen of the Outlands, having heard good report of our subject Carlos Nieto de Andrade and his skill in the weapons of defense, it is our intent to advance him in honor and admit him to the Order of Defense. We do hereby elevate and affirm those arms previously granted by the colors of arms by the blood and sun. To wit, for chevron, azure, and argent, equivalent of 8 points, 1 and 2 or, and a cross of Santiago gules within a bordure and counter chain, which Master Carlos shall hold for his sole and unique use throughout the known world as a sign of the high esteem in which he is held. We set our
his good Maestro Carlos has a request of Her Majesty.
Maestro Carlos, let this be the last blow that you receive unanswered.
This amazing scroll is the work of Mistress Monica von Zell. Mr. Carlos, go now and greet your peers. 3 cheers.
For Maestro Carlos! Hip hip!